Welcome to the Global Center for Christ Consciousness. Holy Spirit, Holy Love, Holy Oneness, we ask that you lift us to your presence, lift us to your place of consciousness. Onto the altar in our hearts, we place all that is unlike your love, your holiness, all that is of our head, our thinking, our issues, our strains, strifes, worries, concerns, all placed on your altar as a demonstration that these have no power over us and that we trust you to disperse them into the nothing that they are or are not, and to replace them with all that you've ever willed for us. Perfect love, holiness, peace, joy, oneness. Bring us all that you've always willed for us, but in our strange ways we kept away. We set aside our resistance and we welcome in your love. We welcome in your prosperity. We welcome in all the miracles that have always been waiting for us throughout all time. And we choose to integrate those now. Let all of this make us into better people, the way we interact with ourselves and with each other. Let love prevail. And so it is.
Please join me in reading our mission statement, which you can find on the front of this white card. Together we say, the Global Center for Christ Consciousness is a spiritual center for students and masters on the spiritual path. We are dedicated to awakening the inner Christ and to creating a world of love, peace, joy, and abundance. And now for our sacred reading of the day. From Paramahansa Yogananda. Intuition is the bridge between the soul and the ego's thoughts and sensations. If one can, for a sufficient length of time, remain unidentified with thoughts and sensations and without being unconscious, one will know through the development of intuition the nature of the soul. When one is thus perfectly calm, neither thinking nor sentient, nor unconscious, yet knowing that you exist, a keenness of joyful being in which the thinking, thought, and thinker have become one, unity of the knower, knowing and known. Therein is the soul's consciousness. And so it is.
Good morning, everyone. Those of you who are guests, we appreciate you joining us, whether it's online or in person here. Our general custom is to ask what's on your hearts, what's on your minds, what's happening that you would like some insight or relief or healing or sharing or expansion in consciousness. What is it you want me to talk about today?
Cleansing old habits.
What is it?
Cleansing old habits.
Okay.
Financial sustainability.
Pardon? Okay. What is it? Cosmic guilt?
Joke.
Cosmic joke. Cosmic guilt. It's too much. I can't take it. Captain, we can't take any more of this. All right, thank you. Wait, what?
Trust and surrender.
Surrender. And what was that?
The Sermon on the Mount.
Okay. That's good, thank you. The topics are diverse for the folks online. Just know that I'll end up covering most of them without having to repeat them all. But the last one was brought up, the Sermon on the Mount. That was an interesting day that Jesus essentially decided to distill everything he had been teaching and down to this, what I call it Jesus' greatest hits. So in the Sermon on the Mount, there's this moment where instead of just sharing, talking, healing, miracles, etc., he decided to distill everything down, which all of us should learn to do. Synthesis, summarizing. Every conversation you have should learn to be summarized. Instead of ad nauseum conversation, distill it down. Whether it's a bank loan you're getting, a conversation with a partner, parenting your children, or getting a new job or ending a job. Everything, it's better for people to learn to summarize. The more you don't do that, the more words, the more head trip is going on. You see? And the more head that's going on, the more there's an insecurity in what you're trying to convey, so you say too much. See, that's actually ego. It's human, but you're not human. You're divine. So higher dimensional beings convey thoughts, right? Why is that? Because they're not humans. They get caught up in all the head trips and words. So the more headiness, the more lost a person is. Sermon on the Mount is a moment of distilling things down. The Sermon on the Mount, Jesus sits, takes a centering breath, just like you should do before talking to a partner about an issue, a stressor, whatever it is, to be able to sit and say, I'm paraphrasing, but it's like he sat down and said, I've shared all this, and one has to wonder how much they're getting it. So what I'm going to do is summarize what I've been saying. And therefore he goes into love one another as I have loved you. He goes into taking all the commandments. No. We've already done that, and it's too much for them. So let's narrow it down. Instead of thou shalt not. Oh, wait. Why don't you all just work on being more loving? And that's how he distills it down. Jesus, since you're in such a profound moment of channeling the Christ presence, give us an idea of how to pray. And he says, well, something like this. Our Father and he shares what's called the Lord's Prayer. It's called the Lord's Prayer because it's the Lord Jesus' prayer. So it's the Lord's Prayer. That was actually, majority of that is actually found in old customs, Jewish customs, the Lord's Prayer. And it was known amongst the Essenes as a prayer. So it's not like Jesus made it up on the spot. He was giving you the highest prayer that people had known in that time. It's a profound level of prayer. But again, he shares the deepest prayer. He summarizes the commandments as a few points. Then he also gives the Beatitudes in the Sermon on the. He says, here's the kind of attitudes you should have. When you're a little, stepped on too much, remember this attitude. When people treat you like this, remember this attitude. So he more or less is saying, remember to be humble, remember to be simple, remember to be clear. Let God come through you and not let your head ego take control and make you into a false self with masks. So there's a lot there in the Sermon on the Mount. And rather than doing a talk on the Sermon on the Mount, because that was only one request, we have videos and presentations we've done on that in the past you can go and get from our store online or in person. But it's the concept. Distill things down. Simplify things in your life. There's 50,000 words you could share about whether you should stay in your job or your relationship. And we could sit there and talk about it you could spend years in counseling about your relationship. You could also have a counselor who says, pause before we get started. Hi, my name is this, my name is that. Okay, great, let's get started. Can you picture yourself in this relationship as it is 20 years from now? No, done. Can you picture it 10 years from now? No, done. 5 years from now? No, done. 2 years from now? No, done. Then what are you doing in this relationship? That'll be $300, Counselors need to learn to kick butt. They need to learn to get somewhere and not enable their clients, who are fine paying for weekly getting nowheres. That's all dysfunctional. That's all dysfunctional. And the counselors could say, well, if I start curing everybody, I got no clients. Yes, you will. Trust me. There's 8 billion screwed up people on the planet. You're going to still have a clientele, especially if you're on Zoom. You're more available. So This concept you also brought up, habits, canceling out old habits, inner child issues, sustainable finances. These are stress nervous system. These are all issues. These are all challenges. And they're normal. Don't make yourself worse than you are. It's normal to be afraid, to be stressed, to have your nervous system react. You're a spiritual being who's perfect and whole. There's no doubt in that at all, in the truth of God. There's three parts of you: your spirit, your soul, and your human. Your spirit is perfectly made in God's image. That cannot change. The soul, however, is the part that said, see, again, there's only one of you, the spirit. But these were all one, your spirit self. But then part of us all said, what if we were separated? Now the perfect spirit became a spirit and a journeying soul that went into the cosmos and started journeying, a soul's journey, lifetime after lifetime, various dimensionalities, various star systems. That's your soul. But the human split off from that. So the divine being became the amazing being, but not perfect yet anymore. Divine soul became a human who thinks it gets 25 cents an hour raise every 25 years. Human beings who think that their value is based on how much they have in the bank. See, that's this self. But there's such a contrast between this self and this self. It doesn't make sense. So when you say your nervous system is stressed, for example, or any other issues, but let's use that one as an example. Your nervous system isn't a separate thing from you. Your nervous system is a manifestation of you. It's a crystallization. If your nervous system is like really solid, it comes from having a solid soul. Again, upper three chakras, spirit. Heart is your soul, lower three chakras is your humanness. And the humanness is the one with a nervous system, not your spirit, not your soul, your humanness. But your nervous system gets manifested based on your human patterns and your soul's beliefs. If I believe myself, so many lifetimes, people take advantage of me, I don't even want to be on earth, this is going to be great. Because if you don't show up to manifest a strong nervous system, you're going to be like this, and everybody just boo, and you jump out of your skin, which is a funny phrase we use, because you're not even in your skin. That's why we say they jumped out of their skin, because you're not here. You're not present. You don't have that warrior part of you quite honed in enough. So you walk around terrified of the world. Everything's out to get you. Your aura's like shrunk back. It's like we're on reserves. We don't have enough energy to do this. Isn't the world wonderful? Oh no, what are you talking about? God only knows who's going to jump out from behind the next alley and mug you. And, it's all shrunk in. The chakras are, look, all your chakras look like they just had lemon juice. They're just pursed, and the aura's shrunk back. Your nervous system is like, what's going on? Shh, everything will be okay. What a way to live. But you can't fix it with sedatives and stimulants. We believe we're separate from God, the creator of the universe. Well, if you believe you're separate from God, the creator of the universe, it means you're separated also from the universe. And then we sit on a planet that's separated from the other planets. And then we sit in towns separated from other towns, in bodies that are separated from other bodies. And then if that's not bad enough, my liver and my gallbladder don't even work well together. I'm all separated. I have emotions I don't even know I have, and I don't know where they came from. I live a life of fragmentation. But if I'm not wholly, WH, if I'm not wholly present, who's there to feed my glands, my organs? They're starving. They're starving because nobody's there to feed them. So I'm living by my original belief in separation from God, then from everything else, scaling down, getting to this little body where I have little separated pieces of me, pieces I don't know. I have thoughts I don't know where they came from. I have lifetimes I don't recall. I'm an embodiment of separation. Divided, we fall. And I'm living in this. And if I don't learn to take responsibility for me, my thoughts, my life, I'm staying even more separated. We have to show up and say, hey, wait. All thoughts, all emotions, all patterns, all issues, all unhealed wounds, come here. I own you now. And some of them are like, we must stay hidden. Nope. Turn the light on, look at the creepiest parts of yourself, and you'll be a little freaked out. Sometimes you'll be a little turned off. That can't be me. It's there. It's you. If you can perceive it in any way, shape, or form, feel it, think it, then if it's in your airspace, it's something to look at. So there's all these pieces of me. Now, we conjured up a solution to all this separation because it's so huge. It's beyond imagination. What are we going to do about this? And this is what we did. We actually came up with this. If everything is messed up, all we have to do is come up with a solution. And the solution we came up with is kind of a psychological one because it's all a mental issue that we have. And that is, if someone or something can make me feel special, then I'm not separated anymore. Yeah, see, you see where this is going? You thought this was going to be good news, okay? So, there's a drug that makes me feel special. There's one called cocaine. And people are like, oh my God, it makes you feel invincible. Like you can sell more and you can, see, but that's special. Everything, because we believe we're separated from all that we really need, we think we're separated, we have to compensate. So people and things that will raise us, either numb us from the pain or raise us out of the pain into false stimulation. It makes us feel special, but so do people. Please understand this. When you met somebody who wasn't going to be like the previous person, they're going to be faithful. You have what's called a special arrangement. They will never leave me, which means I've hired you. We have a contract. You're not my partner. You're not my life mate. You're a cellmate. You and I are entering a contract called prison, and don't you ever show signs of unfaithfulness. Why? Because I need faithful. Why do I need faithful? Because I'm broken, and I need someone to prove to me that I'm not broken. My using you to prove to me that I'm not messed up doesn't actually work. It confirms I'm messed up. I usually won't notice it until you do the opposite of what I've hired you to do. When people say, oh, you make me feel so, that's just dangerous. You make you feel. There is no one else. There is no thing else. I'm not saying don't have relationships, but when they make you feel good, remember this. It's because you feel good, not they make you. Own that you feel good. Own that you have value. Don't you make me feel value, because that's a hired hand. That's just an employee in the world of psychology, the ego though. And so when you've said this person, I've never felt heard. I really have such love for you. Why? Because no one's ever heard me before. Although you might go, oh, that feels really good. I'm special. Nobody's ever heard you but me, so I'm special. What you should be hearing is, uh-oh. No one's ever listened to you before. That means you're going to want to talk a lot. And I have to listen, or else. I've heard people say to me in counseling sessions, this person, oh, I love them. They left me. I'm heartbroken. Well, what's so heartbreaking about their leaving? Because no one ever cherished my body as much. You need to cherish your body. If it's them, Buddha tells you the reason people are miserable, they always leave. They're going to die or leave you. Life is suffering. And he's advising you about special relationships. So The word special doesn't mean what it does on Hallmark cards. The word special means, although, God, you're so special to me. You're my oldest child, that's special. You're my youngest child, that's special. Whatever, all of these assignments of special, I got a raise someone else didn't. That makes me feel seen, which is special. The word special means I have a special function for you. It means I have a special assignment. Unless a relationship has been given to God to help me heal and create a blessing between us, which means I retire you from all assignments. I just want to know you as you are. And let's exchange on that level. I have some issues here. You've got some issues there. Let's talk about them. Let's work through them. Now you have a holy relationship because it's a place where you didn't show up with masks and facade. You showed up with everything. Here I am. Is that okay for you? At the risk of them saying, well, when you got to the word mass murderer, no, I'm sorry, but I draw the line there. And you have to go heartbroken and walk away and accept that. But I want you to be honest. If I'm telling you, here I am, and there's something about that you can't deal with, please tell me now. Or else we're going to hide it under some form of specialness. Listen, I won't tell you about that thing in me, and you won't tell me that thing about you, and now we can both keep secrets. And that's dangerous. So these concepts of specialness, here's another way to look at this, which is really a trip. God said, let us make man in our image. Well, what that meant was we are divinity, pure love and light. Let us make something, mankind or whatever, in our image meant you and I were created as perfect love and light. Is that good so far? Yep. Perfect. Good. Then mankind said, now we're not men yet, humans, but we spark off of God and no longer own that perfect, we are nothing but perfect love and light. Instead, we started saying, let us make ourselves in the image of our thinking. And our thoughts have doubts and fears, so now we're manifesting new beings from a place of doubt, which we became gods and goddesses in the universe, like a mythological level of gods and goddesses. Those gods and goddesses are not the original God, perfect love and light. They are the ones that say, I am a jealous God. They have flaws, but they're gods. So now those gods create, let us make man in our image, and they created hybrids and genetic beings. And then those genetic beings said, let us make man in our image, and they created children. And then those children said, let us make man in our image. By the time you scale this all the way down, here's what happens. Every second of every day, we are doing what God started and taught us to do. Let us make man in our image started as a perfect image of wholeness, love, light. By the time we get way down here, we're doing this. Let us make others in the image of our ego projections. Something's changed from let us make spirits in our divine image to you're going to be what I need you to be. You're going to act out betrayal. You're going to act out, you would never betray me. See? I need some people to be the bad guys, and I need somebody to be the good guys. But the good guys are never really seen as the divine way up here that they are. They're good based on how they perform for you. All of these human concepts. I don't get a raise at work means they don't value me. See? But underneath that, I need to feel valued. Of course you should be able to say to a partner, I want you to be faithful. There's a difference between I'm choosing a partner who is faithful because I'm worth that versus I need you to be faithful. There's a very big difference. All of the concepts, I need you to always be attracted to me. That's an accident waiting to happen. I appreciate that you're attracted is really beautiful. But the word need inserted there throws us all off. And so what has to happen is, how do we get back to that original? See, the original oneness with God, there's no need, therefore there's no concept of specialness. By the time you get way down here, we're so fragmented, What I need is everybody to be in a role, either to be the blame for my brokenness or the solution for my brokenness. And if you're the solution, I have a special assignment for you. See, that's what you should be putting in your stinking Valentine's cards. I have a special assignment for you. That's what should be in those cards. Like just an honest, as I'm getting older, I don't feel so great. I need you to make up for that. Tell me how wonderful I am. And it's always something. Tell me I'm the best cook. Tell me I'm the finest this and it's everything. It's body parts, it's emotional, psychological needs, it's availability of that person. And, heaven help those who stray from their assignments. That's why we take people that we had special fake love for, and eventually they end up shifting the assignment over to this one, which is the people I have special hate for. These are people who did not fulfill my special needs, and I don't like them. Now, in the common world here, if I came to you and said, I'm struggling with this person, well, what happened? Well, they did this to me, and they did that to me, and you would support my not liking them. But really, what has to be looked at is the special hate, the how they're not what I want them to be, the assignment I'm giving them. Because there is no being worthy of your hate. They've just not fulfilled what you wanted them to fulfill. They either did something hurtful or they wouldn't do something you wanted. But either way, they let you down. So retiring people, that's why Jesus puts it, forgive them, they know not what they do. He didn't say, forgive one of those two groups. Let's move all the hate relations to love and have fake relationships. Nor did he say, forgive the fake loves because they're all worthless and you should just be alone. What he says, they know not what they do. Who's the they? Either one. The people that are triggering you and the people that are pretending to not yet trigger you, which you think are your soulmates. That's just so perfect. And we finish each other's sentences. Really? Wait, because the time's going to come when it's like, you can come to me, Michael, oh my God, I really appreciate, the healing and the love at the center. I've changed my life. And now I found somebody who's so connected, they complete my sentences. In about 3 months, Michael, I can't get them to shut up. They always interrupt me and complete my sentences, which is, considered to be something very codependent. And see, the things we love, we learn to hate the things we loved because everybody's on borrowed time. The only way out is to turn special relationships into holy ones, and the way to do that is to recognize my holiness. Now I don't need anybody to do something or to be something. It's next to impossible in a world that's all fragmented. Naturally, it's this world. But my job is to be in the world, not of the world, to not let it dictate my feeling today. So, a good example, just using a practical example, one I've brought up before somewhere in the history here, but there was a point where when I was married in my 20s, this person had learning disabilities and one of dyslexia and all these other issues. Well, it was the perfect person to put in charge of my finances. God. Well, no. Anyway, but what's weird is I actually had the audacity to complain about always having insufficient fund charges at the end of every month to where it was in the thousands at the end of the year. Because what? Because a person with learning disabilities was made into my accountant. And then I realized I'm triggered, I'm frustrated and all that. But I said to myself, why are they doing the finances? Why aren't you? Because I don't like it. So then you have to admit you chose them in that position, even if it costs you $1,000 a year in NSF charges. I'm like, yep, I'm good with it. Once I owned that this was me, I'm like, now let's just budget for that. Because I'm not going to do it. We could, why don't we get our children to do the finances? 5-year-olds, sure. Let's just, just throw it and see what happens. But something happened when I owned it and took responsibility. And another thing that happened was, not only in this argument or tension, but other ones as well, to ask myself, do I love this person more than I hate what they're doing? And I always said yes. That love comes first. My love and respect for you has to be greater than my being annoyed at what you're doing with the finances. If the thing that is a trigger is greater than the love, you probably need to be ending the relationship. Because if you don't look at this and measure it and see what's really happening, you're going to continue taking it out on each other. Because you're unconsciously aware it's over, but you're not doing anything about it. So it's going to come out. So it's an interesting thing to me because in God, we're all created perfect and whole. By the time we scale all the way down to it, I was made in God's image and now you're made in my ego's image. Something went wrong between those two realities. I have allowed myself to identify with being broken. Being broken, I need solutions. Solutions, I need to hire supplements. You are my drug. You are my alcohol. You are my food addiction, any addiction of any form. Those people are those things. Retire them. Retire them by forgiving the belief that you're separate from your divinity. Forgive yourself for living that out constantly and the beliefs and patterns, but also forgive the others and make amends with the others for having hired them. You don't always have to verbalize it because that could get daunting. If I told you all to go home today and call everybody you've ever projected onto, you'd never get off the phone. It's a bit much, right? What you can do is in here, you can group healing, all family members, all friends, all lovers, all whatever, groups. I see it now. I needed you. The partner that really broke your heart, what they really broke was your contract. I needed you to be, what is it? Be honest. Instead of, I was just innocently in love and you were my first love or you were my only love or you were my favorite love and making it all decorated with flowers, pause for a minute. What I really needed was, and fill in the blank. And then be able to say, I thought I needed that and held it against you for not being the thing I think I needed. But just because I think I needed it doesn't mean I did. So how are we going to heal? Well, people can't give you what you need because you don't really need what you think you need. It's not I am. I went into I need. I have to change I need into I am. What was I thinking? Look at all the people that have let you down and say, what was I thinking? It's a funny, sarcastic way to do it, but what was I thinking? I thought I needed you. What was I thinking? All these weird assignments. Some of us overtly need our children to get good grades. Sometimes it's an overt. I want them to be successful because it reflects on me. See, it's a lie. Sometimes it's overt like that, obvious. But sometimes it's not so overt. Sometimes I need my child or children to be protected in ways I wasn't. Doesn't that sound reasonable? But wait. Because when they're not, when they scrape their knee and can't stop crying, it shakes something inside. The failure as a parent, that's a special relationship. I needed you to never get hurt. You see? I needed, and this happens when your child dies. You're not just dealing with the death of the child. I remember a client from about 30 years ago. In a session, we were talking about stuff that was going on for them, and then underneath it, we dug up the memory of beautiful family event, outside, inside, and next thing she knew, her child drowned in the stream in the back of their property. And what a horrible experience, of course. But when she does deeper healing, it's not going to just be the loss of her child. It's going to be the whole concept of my beloved child, my sweet baby, my firstborn, all the stuff that they were attached to. If you interview the child, they're going to go, I don't know what her problem is. I'm having no problem at all. I'm in the light now. But someone's suffering, and it isn't the child that drowned. The mom with the concepts. I had hopes for her. Or the child that got into drugs. Oh my God, my image of them is gone. I wanted them to be this and this and this, and they're not. We have to recognize how selfish our agendas are, which is not an easy thing to look at or to talk about or to accept. But we do. We have these selfish agendas. Just remember to do an exercise along the lines of, I needed you to be, and fill in the blank just to see what comes up. Everybody watching a program like this has had someone turn on them, and you needed them to be something else. Certainly, friends, you want them to be a certain thing, and the thing is, we attach, because let's pretend that you have fears of intimacy. Well, when someone is finally going to be the person you choose, you're going to need them to be something special, because the void inside, I've never let anyone touch me, and I've never been in love, and now I'm allowing this. You're going to need that person to be quite spectacular, not just as a lover, but and whatever it is, faithfulness, and there's going to be this grand hope. Some of you have been lucky enough to have them fulfill that in a wonderful way. Wow, it met my expectations. But I would say 8 out of 10 people, it doesn't go that well. They ended up selfish. They ended up this, and it's not what I had hoped. I'm sorry for that. And yet sit and say, that was a lot to put on them, wasn't it? All of my value, all of my innocence, all of my being an innocent, sweet virgin princess, I handed to a dragon slayer. And I wondered, why does he feel so cold? Oh, he has armor on. Think this through. Think this through. Are you bad? No, it's just, it's human. Forgive yourself and then forgive others for the roles. And it's really empowering, not just to say, wow, I went to a seminar and we did this empowerment exercise where I said, I have value and I have a voice and I need to be heard. I don't want to even be in the same room with you. Even though your life coaches are going to say, good man, that's a girl. Yes, you're a goddess now. I'm like, done. I don't want to be in the room with people that need anything, but I'm on a planet with it. So I have to accept it. But I know my preference. I would rather not need you to be something, and I'd rather you not need to be. Can we just be? Can we, it's like you're saying to them, can we just hang? And whatever that looks like, that could be your lover, your partner, it could be a child of yours, it could be a parent, it could be a workmate, but you can still, in consciousness, in prayer, I'm retiring. There's a cord cutting. It's called goodbye exercise. It's on my website. It's a free download. But the goodbye exercise, part of what you're saying is, I'm going to own that I hoped you were going to be my forever. I wanted you to be, and I wanted to be perfect for you. Oh my God, I wanted to keep you from harm, my child. I wanted to be your perfect lover partner. You see, you say those things because it's true. But then you say, but I can't. And it's hard for me it breaks my heart, child, that I couldn't protect you the way I had hoped. It breaks my heart, partner, that I wanted to be your perfect mate. Why did I want to be your perfect mate? Because of selflessness and desire for you to have something wonderful? No. So that I would feel special to you. And I can't, and I'm sorry. But I'm letting go of this in our relationship. It doesn't mean you end literally the relationship, but you're ending the contracts. It can be tearful, it can be heartbreaking, it could be mind-breaking, but it's important to resign from all this. And then you can say to that person, literally or figuratively, verbally or non-verbally, starting over now, I'm just me. I'm not going to take the assignments. I'm going to just say, would you like to share time? If you don't want to get to know the real me, I understand. I might feel hurt, but I understand. On the other hand, if you do, that'd be wonderful. So you're agreeing to let two people, whether it's two friends, family members, partners, whatever they are, you're allowing two souls to start over in a holy relationship. And holy means I'm wholly committed to this, but it also means sacred. And I don't mean just sacred like a spiritual, profound experience. It's a psychological one too. It's a communicative one. It's like, can we commit to talking now? No, I tend to not want to talk. Yeah, but if I'm in a relationship, we're going to go past that. I don't like to touch. Well, that's going to happen. So if you'd prefer not working on it, that's okay. Then you and your porcupine aura go somewhere else. Because, here there's going to be touch. Here there's going to be communication. And that's how it is. You get to the point of, I'm clear now. No games, no hiding. And it's kind of weird because you're saying basically, I'm awake. And someone tries to put you in a box, you see through it more quickly, and you say no to it more quickly. Doesn't mean you have to say it loud and hurtfully, rudely, defensively. But you're like, no, that's not where I'm going to go. And it's awkward. I mean, whatever roles you play, you could be a CEO. That's a role that the people are going to put you in. And they're going to have certain images that they want you to live up to. If you're an employee, they have certain images. And some of them are reasonable on planet Earth. Some of them are related to show up to work on time. Is that reasonable? Yes. But if they had a business in the past where people didn't show up on time and it made them feel undervalued, and now they have a new business and you're an employee, they're going to need you to be on time. Why? To make up for them not feeling valued at their previous job. Now you have an unhealthy assignment. And if I were that counseling, that CEO or that person, I would say, here's what I suggest you do. Go back to work on Monday, get on the PA or in front of everybody and say, here's how we've been doing things. I'm really, as you know, I'm really strict about being on time. But, that's also rubbed up against some wounds where people haven't done and they took advantage. Now, I don't want to project my issues with them onto you. And they're all going to be like, oh, great, now we can be late. But you're also not going to be late. In the present moment, my value, I'm clear, we're going to be on time. And I want you to make more money. So we're going to do better by you being on time. You're excited. I want you to love being here or not be here. See, no masks, no games, no hidden agendas, just clarity. And it's not, I need you to be on time. It's, you will be on time. Because that's how we do things here. You watch for the emotional, the psychological need of that person being a certain way. And you clear those things. And it's an amazing thing. It really is. It's kind of scary by some people's standards, but it's amazing. And one of you's, there's a lot of cosmic joke because one of you said, let's talk about the cosmic. Well, if this isn't funny, I don't know what is. But one of you asked about inner child. Well, there's two versions of the inner child. One is that pure being of light God created, which is a spark in every one of us. Is it okay if I say it's in every one of us? Are you okay with it? The concept? Okay, good. Now, prove it. Think of the biggest jerk you've ever known, and you're going to go, well, not them. Every being has a spark. In Hindu art, you see this image, even elephants and horses, you see this glowing light in their heart center. Every being has that spark of divinity in them. It can't be any other way. Even if I think, well, there's, what about venomous snakes? What about venomous ex-husbands? There can't be an exception, because then all of a sudden, God that is, isn't. God now selects to be or not to be. It doesn't make sense. So every being has this spark of light. And we have to be willing to own that. Now, if you're willing to own that, it helps us heal because we realize the stuff that went on between you and me was not that light. But it doesn't mean the light isn't there. Do you see the difference? We used to think some people are good and some people aren't. Now, everybody is the light, but they don't all know it and live accordingly. That's why you forgive them. They know not what they do. It doesn't mean they don't have the light. It means they're not in touch with that light. See, it's a different way. It helps us heal more quickly because we understand differently. But the real inner child is a spark of light, and that's known as the Christ child. William Blake, I'm paraphrasing, but said, the child in Bethlehem, Christ child, could be born 1,000 times. But if it isn't born in you, it's all in vain. So the Christ that was born in Jesus has to be born in us as well. It doesn't mean it's not there. It is there. But it has to be birthed and then even more brought into maturity. So you have to fan the flame of your light. And that doesn't happen with special relationships, because special relationships, which means the ones that compensate, drugs, alcohol, or people, they compensate. They make you feel what you're not already feeling. If I'm not already feeling it, I'm disconnected from God, because that's my source of that feeling. So the solution is not to be separate. That's how I want to live my life. To not be separate from God. How? By recognizing God in you, it helps bring God closer to me. By recognizing God in me, it helps God sort of come into maturity. The false inner child, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but the temporary inner child is called your wounded child. Now listen, I sympathize with the wounded child, but I have to tell you, it's not the real you. But that doesn't mean I'm like, get over it. That's not the real you. I'm not going to be cold about it. If your broken, wounded child was never heard, never seen, never had a shoulder to cry on, by all means, come here. Let me hold you, cry. Let me acknowledge, and I'm sorry that happened. And that child was shamed. I'm sorry. That child was neglected. It was physically abused. Let's deal with that child. But the child is one facet of you, the soul. When you're healing, it isn't just this inner child. What about all your inner childs from every lifetime? You see? So it's like you got lots to work on, man. Lots of stuff. It's overwhelming, which is why the ego convinces us to drug and, drink ourselves into oblivion so we don't have to work on this stuff. But it's not as big as a job as we think it is. The ego convinces us so that we don't work on it. Stay in the present and work on what's coming up now. Well, how do I know there's not other issues? What, are we done with the now moments? Are we done with today's issues? You want to work on yesterday? Work on what's coming up. When you happen to be the person who goes, guess what? Today, I have nothing left. Trust me, the other stuff will start, emerging from the recesses of the abyss. When you're in a body, you'll never be without something to look at or talk about. Do I mean go and obsess on it? No. I'm just saying you're not going to get bored on the healing path. You're not going to be like, God, this healing path, I just sit blissed out all the time and I don't have any issues to work on. I think I'm going to ascend. Poof, gone. If it happens for you that way, God bless you. But there is an inner child. See it, work on it, sympathize with it to a degree, but don't identify with it. Don't say, I am this broken child. That's dangerous. First of all, it's not true. I became that. I remember that. I went through that. There is this inner child that symbolizes my deepest hurts. That's an okay way to say it. A thing that symbolizes it. A piece of art can symbolize my pain coming out, right? So can this projection called an inner child. It's just a projection, however, of my wounds that I'm working on. Therefore, I'm retiring the inner child. So it's also nice, don't do it till you're ready to do it, but to do a goodbye exercise even with your inner child. When you're ready, when it seems organic. Hello, Michael. What age is the reflection? What age does Michael appear to manifest his most broken stuff? Some of us, it's 3 years old, 6 years old, 12 years old, whatever. But whatever shows up, well, Michael, or whomever you are, you're saying to that child, Michael, I would have loved to have protected you. I would have loved to help you be seen more, or whatever it is. You'd say it all. But I failed, and I'm sorry. I would have loved for you to have been this, and then on and on. You'd say it all. But it didn't happen that way. And you know what's happened now, Michael, is I remember you as the one that didn't get those things. I remember you as wounded, but you're me, so I remember me as wounded. And I'm identifying with that. That means, 8-year-old Michael, that means every relationship I go into, I'm bringing you along, the wounded self that doesn't deserve. Well, how can I get love in a relationship today if I am undeserving? If I am unattractive, if I am flawed? Oh my God, Michael, you've been carrying that from me. I'm sorry, but you know what? I'm going to let that image of me go today. Your image of me. I'm not abandoning you, Michael. I'm releasing you from an image I made. I created Michael in my ego image. Goodbye. And you do that type of process. And you let the image go, but when it's gone, you retain an image of a little spark of light, the real you. And you breathe that into your being. See? So the real essence of that thing I saw as flawed is now breathed into me, and it gives me life. That which is divided is dead, and that which is unified is living. You see? So I allow that spark. Wow. Now I'm here. And the you that never got seen, you're here with me. And it doesn't end there. Now, little Michael, I want to tell you, now I'm going to be our parent. God and I are in a relationship, and I'm promising to bring you to the light, to show you a life that's different from the one you had. Why? Because I'm awake. I promise, Michael, not to date people that stomp on you. I promise that I'm not going to show you movies that make you have nightmares. That's how you reparent that child. Now you take the spark of light, the real child, and you can't just say there's a Christ child in me. You have to protect it and nurture it into maturity. And you're not doing that very well. And it's a lot of responsibility to be the parents of Jesus or the Christ child and your own soul child. It really is. Because you have to remember things like, Mary and Joseph, they have a dream that says, get out of Dodge. And they left town because all these children were killed. You have to learn to listen to a voice of a higher self, or else you're betraying that child again. Not my parents betrayed the child, you're betraying the child when you don't give it a healthy atmosphere, environment. So if you say, I have this Christ child, what are we going to watch? Friday the 58th, horror movies, part 58, if you're watching, just sleazy stuff, you're not really, and I'm talking about dark. I'm not talking about just because there's sensuality. I'm talking about dark stuff, scary stuff, nightmarish stuff, murder, and all these things. How does that, I wonder how the child feels about that. Just ask yourself, how would a 6-year-old feel? And you'll know how your 6-year-old feels. Is that what you want to do? If you're in a relationship that's badgering and hurtful, that doesn't sound like it's the right thing for this child. So we have a Christ child in us that we have to protect and nurture into maturity. How? By being co-parent with God for that child. Making healthier decisions. And I'm not talking about you have to be just purist. My child, that inner child, it can only have filtered water, and it can only have, organic foods. And, it doesn't mean becoming obsessive, just casual and loving. You don't have to feed it only organic, perfect foods today. You might just tell it, let's watch something that makes us laugh today. That's as nurturing to the child as a whole day of organic foods. Give it a Velveeta cheese sandwich. Oh, no, that can harm it. No, the crap you let it watch harms it more than that sandwich. And laugh, and teach it to laugh at foibles and strange things that we do. To be able to say to them, when they say, Mom, there's somebody at school that didn't want to talk to me, and to be able to say, I've done that sometimes where I didn't want to talk to somebody. And it's funny. It's almost like it's a little pouty self. And you tell the 6-year-old, let's do pouty. I don't want to talk to anybody today. And you make fun of it and you laugh. You see how ridiculous we're being? And you teach them that that's not how to be without saying it's sinful. You know, you find ways to bridge with people. You find ways to bridge with your soul, with your real self. So that inner child, remember, there's two. There's the human broken version and there's the divine version. And one of you is also asking about the concept of trust and surrender. So we close with that idea that you cannot trust and surrender to dangerous things. See, some of us think, oh, that's what it's about. You have to face your fears. Well, to a degree, yes, you have to stretch a bit, not let fears get the best of you. But when you know how to love, create a sense of safety in your life by making healthy decisions, that you would only choose to do things that the Christ in you would do, or you would want for a child. When you learn love and respect for yourself and others, and you practice healthiness, safety, and so forth, and you remember responsibility and communication, when you get those four things down, you will automatically be in a place that you can trust and surrender. That becomes organic. Because you know those other pieces are in place, everything feels organically easy. Right? Whether it's you're testing water and you say, I can see the warmth, the steam on it. It's really cold outside. I can see the steam. I touch it. When all the signs are that it's the right temperature, you get in the bath. You shouldn't be getting in the bath going, oh my God, and this could go bad. You're getting in a hot tub, but Jaws has been known to come through the plumbing of swimming pools. Remember people who couldn't go in pools anymore for a while because they saw the movie Jaws? That's just weird. That is just very strange. A swimming pool. I mean, how is it going to get through your plumbing to your swimming pool? Anyway, but this is what we do. So do you stay tense? No, the water seems fine. Yeah, everything. And you get in. It's the same with life. Trust and surrender isn't something you should do while tense. It's show yourself that there's no reason to be tense and you can organically trust and surrender. If you try to do it while scared, while tense, it's not bad. It's just not the best route. Teach yourself that you're safe enough to trust and surrender. That's ideal. Not feel completely safe, but try to surrender. That's an experiment. And sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't. Making sense? Yeah. All right. Let's take a few centering breaths. Centered breathing, a wave. I am on the inhale, relaxed on the exhale. Such beauty, such ease, such relaxation. And then just review in your mind, just what did you hear and learn today that made the most sense? Anything that doesn't, let it go. Just let it wash away. But what did make sense? What was helpful in any way? Just sit and go, I got it. Not I heard it. Not Michael said it. It's, yes, I got it. It becomes your truth. And you sit with that. You integrate that. You own that. Hearing it is one stage of learning, but that could actually all just fall away as soon as you walk out of here. Hearing it's one thing, integrating it is another. It's similar to you eat foods, well, that's nice, but the foods could be worthless to your system if you don't digest it and assimilate it. So take a moment to assimilate what you heard. Let it become true for you, if it is indeed true for you. allow to enter your mind, which isn't always easy, but just try it. Think of anybody that the Holy Spirit will help you bring up that has most challenged you in your life. Overtly, covertly, someone that really challenged you, pushed your buttons, harmed you, whatever the words might be. It can be your own body aches. Someone or something that has most been a trigger. And just experiment with this and ask yourself, what would I have preferred to get from it and it let me down? What might I have wanted it to be and it let me down? Just try that for a moment. Well, I was really hoping that they would be different as a male image, female image, a mother figure, an employer, an employee, a child that I was hoping would never go in a certain direction. Whoever it is, whatever it is, a job I was hoping I would never lose. Flip it around the other way. In what way did it let me down? Because I was needing something from it. Own that and own what it was you were needing. And if there was something you needed, it's totally erroneous, it's fake. You thought you needed it, but why? What did you think it was going to give you if they would have been different, if it would have been different? What would it have given you? What false fulfillment would it have been to you? When something has come to mind, raise and lower a hand. What false agenda, what hope? It was going to make you feel less pain. It was going to make you feel more stimulated and up. It was going to make you feel complete. All the little stories. Now, just be willing to say this. To it, whatever it is or they are, look at them. I am very clear that there's a part of me that felt like something was missing. And I can see more clearly now that you were assigned, you were brought in to fulfill that, to patch that, to numb it, to make it seem gone. Own that with them. And when you didn't do that, especially if they did the opposite, but when you didn't do that, it triggered me. And I can see where my hurt or my anger or my whatever was actually unreasonable in its proportion. And so I'm retiring you from that role. Part of me still wants to say you shouldn't have done this, and part of me still wants to have you leave with some warnings, with some corrections, with some opinions of mine, but none of it's really going to help. So I retire you from this. I'm sorry that we went through that. And I cling to you because I actually think you're the source of that for me, but you're not. So it's very risky for me to let you go, because then I go from an unhealthy thing to emptiness, and emptiness seems so much worse. But I'm going to risk it. Goodbye. And let them fade away. And be aware of you with no cure, no stimulus or sedation, no thing, no person, no loyalty, no partnership, no camaraderie to seem to fill your life. Be empty for just a moment. When the children of God thought that they could separate, they went from heaven to something called a void, darkness. And then creation took place in the universe, but it was a universe of limitation. So going backwards, we have to go from this universe, those people we talked about, to the emptiness, but it's not the end of the story. On the other side of emptiness is glory, wholeness, God, oneness. Take us into that, Holy Spirit of God, Divine Mother. Take us into a moment of feeling what we thought we were going to feel with that person, what they gave us. Let me just feel it on my own, right here, right now. Show me even a glimmer of that feeling, my wholeness, my oneness, my prosperity, my value. I don't need to be spiritual because I'm whole. I don't need to be special because I'm whole. I don't need to be special because I'm one. I don't need any kind of fake spiritual or fake religious. I'm part of God and I'm very holy. To be special is to not be spirit. They're opposites. So you can't want to be your real self while nurturing specialness. The specialness cancels out your wholeness and holiness. I understand. I get it now. I forgive myself for believing I was less than God created me to be. And I also forgive all others that I projected onto. You are part of God and you're holy, and I cannot see that while you're carrying my image of you. I made you in my ego's image, and I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you for forgiving me. And so it is. Very slowly reintegrate back into the room. I cannot be spirit and special at the same time. If I need to be special, I'm not being spirit. If I'm spirit, I don't need to be special. Everything on this planet is telling you life is better when you feel special. I feel so special. I mean, people say that all the time. What a chant, what a mantra. You know, God, I feel so special. So what if a parent treats all their children with equal love? Even though it sounds like they would appreciate that, deep down, each of them wants to be special. I would say to my kids, you are my favorite oldest child, to the oldest. When they wanted to feel special, poor things, you know, they never got that out of me. You know, you're my favorite youngest. See? I mean, they just, when they think for a moment, he's giving in, man. He's going to, you know, make us feel special. Nope. And it wasn't any aversion I had. You know, it was just a fun way of doing that, you know. You're special as you, not in comparison. And you'll know you're really involved in special relationships the more you compete and compare. Sibling rivalry, it's ego-based. It's one of them wants to be better, special, more of something than another. People want to be the most attractive in the room, the job place. They want to be the smartest. Those are all, I mean, look at it. Think about your life. If you could be special in any area, what would it be? Blurt it out. Now you know another area that you're messed up. Then you say, fine, okay, so Michael's philosophy is that we're all depressed because none of us are special at all. You know? And you don't understand that letting go of special, fake special means because you're spiritual. Your spirit, your God. There's nothing to feel special about. The Lord thy God is one. It isn't the Lord thy God is one with favorites. You know? It's God, back to God, wholeness. Well, thank you. We're going to take up our collection and do our closing prayer. While they're preparing for that, a couple quick announcements. First of all, we always ask, please be as generous as you can be. And this month, we're wrapping up the finances from the last year. It's time to do all that. You deal with all those things like that. So any extra generosity you could share would be much appreciated. Probably, we're $5 to $10,000 we need to raise if anybody has the means. We appreciate that. And crystal bed, if you're looking for that, we have the yurt, the healing room out here. So that's available to you, whether you live locally or you're coming through town, traveling through town. It's an incredible experience to go and hang out for 20-minute increments, whether you do 20 or 40 minutes. It's an amazing experience to lay under the crystal bed, the lights they do, the healing on the chakras and all that, which then feeds the glands and the rest of your body. On social media, we appreciate that you guys watch online. You can click on subscribe and do all those extra fancies. We appreciate, because it just kind of beefs up what we're doing here. As a reminder, we have free videos playing on these screens here every weekday from 12 to 2. So you can come in and, just enjoy the whether it's meditations or guided meditations or educations, spirituality, ascension, Course in Miracles. You can add that to your repertoire of feeding your soul. And let's see. We have next week is the first Sunday of the month, and every first Sunday of the month, we have not only a prayer vigil for the 10 o'clock prayer when we start here, 11 o'clock when we're done, 12 o'clock, and then 1 o'clock as well. So for 4 hours, we do a nice little prayer on the hour for the first several hours of the day. It's free, you can join us and participate in that. However, when that's done, we go right into a 3-hour spiritual study of the Bible and lost books of the Bible. It's a very deep connecting. It's not a dry Bible study. It's a very deep study of all spirituality. So you can join us for that. And if you miss, we do that every once a month. If you miss it, you can go back and watch the videos of it. We do have a new shipment of the Love and Forgiveness books. I mentioned this last week, but we were out of them when I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. That's been sold out for a year, I think. But those are reprinted, so there's some in the bookstore now. Let's see if we got all the items. I think that's all the items. Board members or anybody else, you have anything I'm supposed to? What is it? Oh, no, that's another thing. Okay. All right, so those are the announcements for now. Please, with earnestness, just total intent and integrity, think in terms of love and abundance. And you take the gift that you're sharing, the donation, love and abundance, come from that place truly believing that when you give, it multiplies, because when you believe you can afford to give, your belief will bring more to you because your belief has grown. So truly believe, whether you even only can put a prayer in, it's a prayer that you are becoming more abundant, and then the day will come when you can afford. But whatever you afford, and if it's more and extra, God bless you and thank you. We hold that appreciation that we have, that we are and that we give. We hold that in our minds and we affirm together, please. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Beautiful. We'll do our closing prayer in just about a minute or two. Can anybody share what did you learn or hear today that made the most sense for you? What can make a difference in your life or the lives of people around you? What did you hear or learn today? Yes.
The two inner children, that was really a great way to conceptualize something
Right.
I've been struggling with.
That you have two inner child concepts in you. One is your inner divine child and one is the broken human child. in front of her. Oh, yes?
In the meditation, I knew that there wasn't anybody to blame. I knew that it was all in me. So I looked and I saw this like cloak or cloud behind me, and then it just dissipated.
Nice. In the meditation, seeing that there's no one to blame, but you just saw a cloud and it dissipates and you're free. That's fantastic. Anyone else? Yes.
It's kind of concerning because I can get past some big, troublesome dilemma, and there's going to be another one.
Seeing that you get past big troubles and dilemmas and then only to find there's another wave coming. Yep. Yep. Anyone else? If I can't see, sorry. Yes?
Yes, this inner child that was both sides when it was bad to me as a child,
Mm-hmm.
but also what I received a lot as a child, stating, making me want that more. So I had to
Wow.
resolve that. So,
Nice. Resolving the old programs and so forth of a child inside. Nice.
well, the thing is, everybody, in the family, they say, he has so nice eyes, so nice
Right.
eyes.
Oh, yeah.
I expect everybody to tell me I have nice eyes.
Oh. So he's also flipping it, saying, what about the compliments? Because what if there's a child in you that you're the smart one, honey. You're such beautiful eyes. What if you're beautiful blue eyes and everybody sees you for that? What if they change colors? I'm not what I used to be. I'm not living up. They won't like me anymore. I mean, this is what happens. Think about celebrities that are known for look or a body type, and it changes. There's a freaky thing that happens in a person that has large groups of people holding an image of them a certain way. It's really a weird thing like a parent, always being watched by your children. If you slip, you think it's hard to be a parent of 2 or 3 children and who are watching you all the time. Now, what if you're a CEO and they're all watching? What if you're a political figure watching every move, a musician or, a rock star, everybody watching everything all the time? It's somebody asked a nervous system. You think you have a fragile nervous system. Unless you become thick-skinned and not care about anyone else's opinions, you take a lot of that on. It's a very freaky kind of position to be in. And we're all being watched by different kinds of groups. Me here, but you as a parent, you as a CEO, you as a man, you as a woman, you as a Republican, you as a Democrat. There's groups watching you to pick on you or to find fault in some way. So it's really a strange thing on our nervous system. What we need to do is know who we are and don't allow the projections to get into us and through it to us. Yes?
I think today's talk definitely shatters the illusion of most existing relationship dynamics.
Doesn't it? I like the way you said that, I think that this talk really shattered relationship dynamics.
And I always think about it whenever you're talking about like other people.
Yep.
I try to think about what parts of myself am I, in that
Right.
kind of relationship with, like habits or patterns or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to like flip that, on myself and think about, what have I expected from myself, or
Right.
what do I, what agendas do I place on myself?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And what you said, how you said it was great, but what you said, hasn't really been mentioned yet from anybody in here till you, but we just covered something that shatters all concepts of relationships, that I need to feel special, which in your 3 stages that we go through in our self-help, in our development, here are the stages. I'm worthless, I'm nothing, I'm broken. Well, that's clearly not special. I'm screwed up. But then you get on the spiritual path, you do self-help, you do circles, you do all this, tracking and step work, and so that you can become more clear and empowered. But now you're also more spiritual, but you realize what you're doing is you're trying to become special. You're growing into a special person. I used to not have any value. Now Oh my God, I mean, I have value, and anybody that doesn't value me, I, do this and that. I speak up because I'm so, but see, now you've become special in your own mind. But the ego's there when you don't feel special because it wants you broken. And then when you do get special, it wants you there because it's a false special. There's a third stage, back to wholeness and oneness. God, love. Retire everybody, and there you are. The ego's still going to try to infiltrate that third group by making you say, I guess it's because I'm so profoundly spiritual, I've broken away from all that. It's going to try. But you'll know that you're not feeding into it when you don't have the comparing, the competing, and just keep every day. For me, a prayer that I've done for the last year, it's a 3-part prayer that I do, but one part is that all my relationships are holy. It's not like, and I want to win the lottery, but it's, no. One is to have a palpable relationship all the time with God, the Holy Spirit, the Divine Mother. The second of my 3 prayers is, and all my relationships are holy. When I do that, I say, with all beings. I'm not even letting critters off the hook. All beings ever created. And I could sit there and go, in all dimensions and throughout all time. Because I'm saying, all beings, I'm choosing to have a holy relationship with everyone, everything. That's the second of my 3-part prayer. All right? That people don't ask uncomfortable questions is the third part. I used to like you, but I'm moving you right over here, special love, the guy that doesn't say rude things, and I'm moving him over to here, the people I don't like that say, no. The third thing, because I don't need secrets, the third thing is along the lines of, because the first is the relationship with God, the second is the relationship with, the holy relationships with everyone. The third one is to see as much as possible, not things, ego stuff reflected in my life, but the presence of God reflected in my life in the form of radiant health and abundant wealth. Yeah, that's the third prayer. See, because even that, I don't go, I want stuff. I say, let it reflect my connection to you. Yeah, there you have it. Please stand for our closing prayer. If other people were willing to share, questions and feedback from the service, I appreciate that. If I couldn't see your hand raised, I apologize. And people online, we hear you too. We know that you have some great feedback. Share that with each other because it's insightful to others in the program when you share what you got, your teaching. So very much appreciate everybody for being here. You're, beautiful souls, and you're a good mirror image for me, to show there's such goodness in the world. And the world has its stuff, but at least we create this concept of, I go 6 days of man's creation, and on the 7th day I rest and refill. So it's like an oasis for us to watch programs like this. But remember, it's not just this on a Sunday. It's healthy songs that you listen to, healthy music. Feed your soul. Feed your body healthy, yes, but feed your soul. Listen to music that feeds your soul, makes you laugh, makes you, want to sing along. Our opening song we did as a group was Sing a Song by Earth, Wind, and Fire. And, when you feel down and out, sing a song. He's telling you an affirmation. Let's go for it, he's saying. And, by the same token, just feed yourself with healthy movies and healthy whatever else. Choose healthiness around you. Remember that child is there with you. Feed your life things that seem like they make sense that would help that child grow and feel alive rather than afraid. Make sense? Yeah. So we share our closing affirmation together, and we really understand it's an affirming. We don't just recite it. We're really saying it from belief. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is. Peace be with you all. Thank you.